Remember when your favorite sitcom felt like one big happy family? Well, hate to break it to you, but some of those TV families couldn't stand each other in real life. We're talking about co-stars who smiled for the cameras but wouldn't speak off set, actors who demanded separate filming schedules, and feuds so intense they nearly destroyed hit shows. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 11 on-screen friendships that were anything but friendly when the cameras stopped rolling. Alright, let's get into it with number 11. Number 11. Shannon Doherty and Jenny Garth, Beverly Hills 90210. Beverly Hills 90210 ran for 10 seasons from 1990 to 2000, and it defined teen drama for an entire generation. The show followed a group of privileged high schoolers navigating life in one of LA's wealthiest zip codes, tackling everything from teen pregnancy to drug addiction to Dylan's perpetual hair gel budget. Shannon Doherty played Brenda Walsh, the Minnesota transplant trying to fit in, while Jenny Garth was Kelly Taylor, the popular blonde with a troubled home life. On screen, their characters had one of those complicated best friends/rival relationships that kept the viewers tuning in every week. Off screen, well, let's just say the rivalry part wasn't exactly acting. The tension between Doherty and Garth was so infamous that it became tabloid fodder throughout the show's run. According to multiple sources, including the actors themselves years later, the two women genuinely could not stand each other. We're not talking about mild annoyance. We're talking about full-blown hatred that occasionally turned physical. Garth later admitted on a podcast that she and Doherty once got into an actual fistfight on set. Yes, you read that right. A physical altercation. Over what? Nobody seems to remember the exact trigger, but years of built-up resentment apparently exploded in the middle of a workday. Imagine being a production assistant and having to break up a fight between Brenda and Kelly. That's not in the job description. The feud got so bad that it allegedly contributed to Doherty's departure after season 4, while the official story involved creative differences and Doherty wanting to pursue other opportunities. Behind the scenes, whispers suggested that producers were tired of managing the on-set tension. When you're spending more time mediating feuds than filming scenes, something's got to give. Here's the weird part though. Decades later, Doherty and Garth actually reconciled. They appeared together on various reunion specials, and Doherty even guest starred on the 90210 reboot. Turns out, time and perspective can heal even the nastiest of 90s feuds. After Doherty's cancer diagnosis, the two reportedly developed genuine respect for each other, proving that sometimes it takes real-life perspective to move past manufactured drama. Still, for 4 seasons of Beverly Hills 90-2010, two of the show's biggest stars genuinely hated each other, and somehow managed to convince America they were best friends. That's either incredible acting or proof that Hollywood is really good at hiding dysfunction. Number 10. Will Smith and Janet Hubert, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air ran for 6 seasons from 1990 to 1996, launching Will Smith from rapper to megastar, while giving us one of TV's most beloved family comedies. The show followed Will's fish-out-of-water adventures, moving from West Philadelphia to his wealthy aunt and uncle's Bel-Air mansion. Janet Hubert played Aunt Vivian for the first 3 seasons, bringing warmth, intelligence, and just the right amount of stern authority to the Banks family matriarch. Then, suddenly, season 4 premiered with a completely different actress, Daphne Maxwell Reid, in the role. The show even made a joke about it, with Jazz doing a double take and saying Vivian looked different. But behind that joke was one of the nastiest feuds in sitcom history. Hubert has been vocal for decades about why she left the show. And spoiler alert, it wasn't her choice. According to Hubert, she was fired after refusing to bow to what she called Will Smith's inflated ego and the show's unfair treatment of her character. She claims she was pregnant during contract negotiations, and the producers wouldn't accommodate her needs or give her the salary she deserved. Will Smith's version of events paints a different picture. He suggested that Hubert was difficult to work with, and that her attitude on set was causing problems. He's admitted in interviews that he was young, immature, and probably handled the situation poorly, but he maintained for years that Hubert's departure was ultimately her own doing. The feud didn't end with Hubert's exit. Oh no, it festered for 27 years. Hubert gave interviews calling Smith an egomaniac, Smith made comments suggesting she was bitter about her career not taking off after Fresh Prince. It was messy, public, and uncomfortable to watch, like seeing your parents fight at a restaurant. Here's where it gets interesting, though. In 2020, during the Fresh Prince reunion special on HBO Max, Smith and Hubert finally sat down face-to-face for the first time in decades. The conversation was emotional, honest, and surprisingly healing. Hubert explained the pressure she was under as a young mother trying to negotiate fair treatment. Smith acknowledged his immaturity and privilege as the show's star. They didn't just make peace. They actually seemed to develop genuine understanding and respect. It was one of those rare moments where a decades-long Hollywood feud actually got resolved instead of just fading away. Though let's be honest, it only took 27 years, a global pandemic, and a major streaming platform to make it happen. Number 9. David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson. The X-Files. The X-Files ran from 1993 to 2002, with a revival from 2016 to 2018. And it redefined sci-fi television for a generation. Mulder and Scully, played by David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson, had one of TV's most iconic partnerships, with chemistry so intense that fans shipped them long before shipping was even a thing. But here's the truth bomb. For a significant chunk of the show's run, Duchovny and Anderson couldn't stand each other. And we're not talking about mild professional friction. At times, they reportedly wouldn't even speak to each other between takes, communicating only when the cameras were rolling. Part of the problem was the grueling shooting schedule. The X-Files filmed in Vancouver for its first 5 seasons, with production days that regularly stretched 16 hours or more. When you're working those kinds of hours in the rainy Canadian wilderness, investigating fake alien corpses and running from guys in black suits, tensions are bound to rise. Anderson has been candid about the early friction. In interviews, she's admitted that she and Duchovny would get on each other's nerves constantly. They were young, both dealing with sudden fame, and basically living in each other's pockets for months at a time. It's like being stuck in a very long, very weird summer camp with someone you didn't choose as a bunkmate. Then there was the salary disparity issue. Anderson was initially paid significantly less than Duchovny, despite being equally central to the show. When she fought for equal pay, it created additional tension behind the scenes. Nothing says working relationship harmony quite like fighting with the network over why your male co-star makes more money for doing the same job. The feud wasn't explosive or tabloid-worthy. It was more like a Cold War, professional but distant. They'd nail their scenes, then retreat to separate corners like boxers between rounds. Crew members reported that the set could feel tense when both actors were filming, with everyone walking on eggshells to avoid setting off either star. Here's the happy ending, though. Over time, especially after the original run ended, Duchovny and Anderson actually became friends. Real friends. They've spoken warmly about each other in recent interviews, appeared together at conventions, and even advocated for each other's projects. Anderson has said that the distance actually helped, that they needed space from the intensity of working together every single day. By the time the revival rolled around, they'd developed genuine affection and respect. It's almost sweet in a weird way. Two people who couldn't stand each other for years, brought together by alien conspiracies and government cover-ups, eventually becoming actual friends. If that's not proof that the truth is out there, I don't know what is. Number 8. Sarah Jessica Parker and Kim Cattrall, Sex and the City. Sex and the City ran for 6 seasons from 1998 to 2004, revolutionizing how television talked about women, relationships, and Manolo Blahniks. The show followed 4 Manhattan women, navigating love and careers with brunch scenes that made Cosmos look essential to civilized society. Sarah Jessica Parker played Carrie Bradshaw, the show's narrator and emotional center, while Kim Cattrall stole scenes as Samantha Jones, the sexually confident publicist who said what everyone else was thinking. On screen, the 4 women were inseparable best friends. Off-screen, Parker and Cattrall's relationship was anything but friendly. The tension stayed mostly under wraps during the original series because Hollywood's good at keeping secrets when money's involved. But cracks showed during negotiations for the first movie when Cattrall allegedly held out for a bigger payday. Smart negotiating, but it didn't endear her to co-stars. 2 movies happened, but when talks began for a 3rd film, everything fell apart. Cattrall refused, and that's when things got nasty. In interviews, she made it clear she was never friends with her co-stars, particularly Parker, calling their relationship toxic. Ouch. The situation reached peak awkwardness when Cattrall's brother passed away, and Parker offered Instagram condolences. Cattrall responded publicly, telling Parker to stop exploiting her tragedy. It was brutal and uncomfortable. When HBO Max announced the revival, and just like that, in 2021, Samantha was conspicuously absent, written off as having moved to London after a business dispute with Carrie, which felt uncomfortably close to real life. The feud remains unresolved. Parker expresses openness to reconciliation. Cattrall makes it clear she's moved on with no interest in revisiting that chapter. Fans are left wondering if Samantha and Carrie's friendship was ever real. Number 7. Terry Hatcher versus the rest of the cast. Desperate Housewives. Desperate Housewives ran for 8 seasons from 2004 to 2012, turning suburban secrets into must-see TV. The show followed 4 women on Wisteria Lane, dealing with murder, mystery, and drama that makes your HOA disputes look quaint. Terry Hatcher played Susan Mayer, initially positioned as the show's lead, but according to behind-the-scenes reports, Hatcher's relationship with co-stars Marcia Cross, Eva Longoria, and Felicity Huffman was frosty at best and openly hostile at worst. The most famous incident involved a Vanity Fair photo shoot in 2005. When deciding the order of names and credits, things got contentious. The issue was resolved alphabetically, but reports surfaced that the other 3 actresses had united against Hatcher, creating a 3 versus 1 dynamic that lasted the entire run. Sources claimed Hatcher was isolated on set. The other actresses would socialize together, but exclude her, with separate dressing room areas to minimize interaction. High school, except with Emmy nominations and million-dollar salaries. What caused the rift? Nobody's saying. Some suggest jealousy over Hatcher's positioning as the lead. Others hint at personality clashes. Hatcher suggested she was never welcomed into the group. At the wrap party, Hatcher reportedly sat alone, while the others clustered together. A visual metaphor so perfect it could have been a scene in the show. Years later, their virtual reunion was professional, cordial, and about as warm as a Minnesota winter. Number 6. Charlie Sheen and Chuck Lorre, 2.5 Men. 2.5 Men ran for 12 seasons from 2003 to 2015, becoming CBS's biggest comedy hit. Charlie Sheen played Charlie Harper, a jingle writer living the bachelor life in Malibu until his brother and nephew moved in, cramping his style. The show made Sheen the highest paid actor on television, reportedly earning $1.8 million per episode by the end of his run. But in 2011, the gravy train derailed spectacularly when Sheen's feud with creator Chuck Lorre exploded into one of the most public meltdowns in TV history. It started with Sheen's personal issues, substance abuse, erratic behavior, and missed workdays that forced production to shut down. When CBS and Lorre decided to end the season early to give Sheen time to get help, Sheen responded by going on a media tour that made Howard Beale look restrained. He called Lorre a clown and a stupid, stupid little man. He started using the phrase winning to describe his mental state. He claimed to have tiger blood and Adonis DNA. He gave rambling interviews that were part manifesto, part performance art, part cry for help. It was like watching a very expensive, very public nervous breakdown in real time. Lorre responded the way he always did, with a vanity card at the end of one of his shows that passive-aggressively addressed the situation. Sheen fired back harder. The whole thing spiraled into a death spiral of press releases, angry phone calls, and eventually, Sheen's firing from the show he'd led for 8 seasons. CBS and Warner Brothers released a statement saying Sheen's behavior made it impossible to continue working with him. Sheen sued for wrongful termination. Lawyers got very rich, and America watched with horrified fascination as one of TV's biggest stars imploded in real time. The show continued with Ashton Kutcher replacing Sheen as a billionaire who buys Charlie's house after Charlie's character dies. The first episode with Kutcher drew huge ratings from curiosity seekers wanting to see how they'd write off Sheen's character. The novelty wore off eventually, but the show limped on for 4 more seasons. Sheen and Lorre have never reconciled. Sheen's career never recovered its pre-meltdown heights, though he's worked steadily in smaller projects. Laurie went on to create more hit shows, probably while thanking his lucky stars he didn't have to deal with Sheen anymore. The whole saga stands as a cautionary tale about what happens when personal demons, ego, and network television collide. Also, maybe don't publicly insult the guy who controls whether you have a job. Just a thought. Number 5. Isaiah Washington and Patrick Dempsey, Grey's Anatomy. Grey's Anatomy premiered in 2005 and is somehow still on the air, making it one of the longest-running medical dramas in television history. The show follows surgical interns, residents, and attendings at Seattle Grace Hospital as they navigate complicated relationships and even more complicated medical cases. Isaiah Washington played Dr. Preston Burke, a brilliant cardiothoracic surgeon, while Patrick Dempsey was Dr. Derek Shepard, better known as McDreamy, the neurosurgeon who made brain surgery look sexy. Behind the scenes, though, things were anything but dreamy. In October of 2006, Washington and Dempsey reportedly got into a physical altercation on set. Details vary depending on who's telling the story, but the incident allegedly involved Washington grabbing Dempsey by the throat during a heated argument. Already we're off to a bad start when co-workers are putting hands on each other, but it gets worse. During the altercation, Washington allegedly used a homophobic slur in reference to their co-star T.R. Knight, who had not publicly come out at the time. Knight, caught in the middle of his co-star's feud, felt pressured to publicly acknowledge his sexuality in response to the incident. Washington denied using the slur initially, but then, in one of the most baffling PR moves in television history, he repeated the slur at the Golden Globes press room in January 2007, while denying he'd said it in the first place. Imagine actively making your scandal worse while trying to deny it happened. That's some next-level self-sabotage. ABC fired Washington after the third season, citing his inability to move past the incident and work effectively with the cast. Washington has maintained that he was unfairly scapegoated and that the network should have handled the situation differently. He's probably right that there were better ways to handle it, but also maybe don't grab coworkers by the throat and use slurs. Just spitballing here. Washington's career took a major hit after Grey's Anatomy. He worked steadily in smaller projects and had a recurring role on The 100, but he never regained the momentum he had as Dr. Burke. He's attempted multiple comebacks and apologies over the years, with varying degrees of success and sincerity. Dempsey stayed on Grey's Anatomy until 2015, when his own behind-the-scenes issues led to his departure. Knight left in 2009, with both actors citing the toxic work environment as contributing factors. The whole situation remains a masterclass in how quickly on-set tension can explode into career-altering scandal. It also highlights how Hollywood's treatment of conflicts has evolved, or at least how much harder it is to sweep things under the rug in the social media age. Number 4. Naya Rivera and Lea Michele. Glee ran for 6 seasons from 2009 to 2015, bringing show tunes and jazz hands to primetime television. The show followed the misfit members of a high school glee club as they navigated bullying, relationships, and whether or not Journey songs counted as legitimate musical theater. Naya Rivera played Santana Lopez, the sharp-tongued cheerleader whose character evolved into one of the show's most compelling and groundbreaking LGBTQ representations. Lea Michele was Rachel Berry, the relentlessly ambitious theater kid who served as the show's primary protagonist. On screen, their characters had a complicated frenemy relationship. Off screen, the enmity was apparently real and mutual. According to Rivera's memoir, Sorry Not Sorry, published in 2016, she and Michele started as friends, but the relationship soured as the show progressed. Rivera wrote that Michele didn't like sharing the spotlight and that she made the set difficult for others when she felt upstaged. The book didn't name names directly, but it was pretty clear who she was talking about. Other cast members have backed up Rivera's version of events in various interviews, with some describing Michele as demanding and difficult to work with. Samantha Marie Ware, who joined the show's final season, tweeted in 2020 that Michelle made her life a living hell on set, prompting other actors and crew members to share similar stories. The tension between Rivera and Michelle reportedly came to a head during season 6 when they had to film scenes together, but were barely speaking. Production allegedly had to schedule their scenes carefully to minimize interaction, which must have made filming a show about teamwork and harmony super ironic. What's particularly sad about this feud is how it ended. Rivera drowned in a tragic accident at Lake Peru in California in July 2020, just weeks after the renewed attention on Michelle's on-set behavior. Rivera was only 33 years old, a talented actress and singer gone way too soon. After Rivera's death, Michelle posted a tribute on Instagram, but comments were quickly disabled after fans called out the hypocrisy of Michelle mourning someone she allegedly treated poorly. It was messy, uncomfortable, and highlighted how complicated grief becomes when relationships are unresolved. The Glee cast has reunited several times since the show ended, but these gatherings have been marked by notable absences and visible tension. What should be joyful nostalgia is tinged with the knowledge that behind those perfectly choreographed musical numbers was genuine discord. Rivera's legacy on Glee is secure. Santana Lopez remains one of television's most important LGBTQ characters, and Rivera's performance brought depth and humanity to a role that could have been one-dimensional. It's just unfortunate that the behind-the-scenes reality couldn't match the show's message about acceptance and unity. Number 3. Thomas Gibson and Virgil Williams, Criminal Minds. Criminal Minds ran for 15 seasons from 2005 to 2020, making it one of the longest-running crime traditionals in TV history. The show followed the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit as they profiled serial killers and other violent criminals. Thomas Gibson played SSA Aaron Hotchner for 11 seasons, serving as the unit chief and the show's moral center. He was a steady, reliable presence, which made his explosive departure in 2016 all the more shocking. In August of 2016, Gibson got into a physical altercation with writer-producer Virgil Williams on set. According to reports, Gibson kicked Williams during a disagreement about the script. Yes, you read that correctly. A 54-year-old man kicked a colleague at work like a toddler throwing a tantrum. CBS fired Gibson immediately, releasing a statement that he had been dismissed due to an incident on set. Gibson later admitted to the altercation, claiming it was just a little tap to Williams' leg during a creative disagreement. Williams presumably felt it was more than a little tap, since the incident resulted in Gibson's termination. This wasn't Gibson's first on-set incident. There had been previous reports of anger management issues and conflicts with cast and crew members over the years. The kick was apparently the final straw for CBS and ABC Studios, who decided they'd had enough of managing Gibson's behavior. Gibson's character was written out mid-season 12, with Hotchner entering witness protection. It was an abrupt, unsatisfying exit for a character who'd been central to the show for over a decade. Fans were upset, but most understood that the network couldn't keep employing someone who literally kicked co-workers. Gibson has maintained that he was unfairly treated and that the incident was blown out of proportion. He's suggested that he was made an example of, and that the punishment didn't fit the crime. However, when your crime is workplace violence, most employers tend to take a pretty hard line on that. His career has been quiet since Criminal Minds. He had a short-lived role on the TNT drama, The Truth About the Harry Quibert Affair, but he hasn't regained the steady work he had before the incident. Meanwhile, Criminal Minds continued for 3 more seasons without him, proving that even leading characters can be replaced when they become liabilities. The whole situation is a reminder that no matter how valuable an actor is to a show, there are lines that can't be uncrossed. Kicking your producer is apparently one of those lines. Who knew? Number 2. Deborah Messing and Megan Mullally, Will and Grace. Will and Grace was a groundbreaking sitcom that ran for 8 seasons from 1998 to 2006, then returned for 3 more seasons from 2017 to 2020. The show followed the lives of gay lawyer Will Truman and interior designer Grace Adler, along with Grace's assistant Karen Walker and Will's friend Jack McFarland. Deborah Messing played Grace while Megan Mullally played Karen, and for the original run, everything seemed copacetic. The 4 leads had incredible chemistry, racking up multiple Emmy wins and nominations. The show was a cultural phenomenon that helped normalize LGBTQ relationships on television. But when the revival premiered in 2017, something had clearly changed. Viewers noticed that Grace and Karen barely shared scenes together anymore. When they did appear on screen together, they had minimal interaction. It was like watching two people actively avoid each other while pretending everything was fine. Behind-the-scenes reports confirmed what fans suspected. Messing and Mullally were no longer speaking to each other. They filmed their scenes separately whenever possible and communicated through intermediaries when they had to work together. It was professional, sure, but about as warm as an Arctic winter. Here's where it gets really mysterious. Neither actress has publicly explained what caused the rift. Messing has posted cryptic messages on social media that seem to address the situation without actually addressing it. Mullally has remained almost completely silent, refusing to engage with questions about her relationship with Messing. The feud became so obvious that it affected the show's writing. Storylines that would have naturally featured Grace and Karen together were rewritten or avoided entirely. The show's final season felt disjointed, like two separate sitcoms awkwardly stitched together. Entertainment reporters have speculated endlessly about the cause. Some suggest it was a political disagreement, others hint at a personal betrayal, and some think it might have been something that happened during the original run that only came to light during the revival. Without either actress confirming anything, it's all just guesswork. What makes this feud particularly frustrating for fans is the silence. At least with most of the other feuds on this list, we know what happened. We might not agree with how it was handled, but we understand the cause. With Messing and Mullally, we're left with questions and uncomfortable knowledge that two people who once seemed like genuine friends can't even be in the same room anymore. The Will and Grace finale aired in April 2020, wrapping up the series for good. Messing and Mullally posed for publicity photos together, maintaining the fiction of friendship for the cameras. But anyone paying attention knew the truth. Whatever happened between Deborah and Megan, it was serious enough that even a show finale couldn't bridge the gap. And we'll probably never know the full story, which might be the most frustrating part of all. Number 1. Cybill Shepherd and Christine Baranski. Cybill ran for 4 seasons from 1995 to 1998 on CBS, following the life of Cybill Sheridan, a middle-aged actress navigating Hollywood, divorce, and friendship. Cybill Shepherd played the title character, while Christine Baranski stole scenes as Mary Ann Thorpe, Cybill's best friend, and the show's breakout character. This feud claims the number 1 spot, not because it was the most violent or the most public, but because it might have been the pettiest, most ego-driven conflict in sitcom history. It was a masterclass in how success can poison relationships, and how insecurity can ruin a good thing. The show was Cybill Shepherd's baby. She was the star, the namesake, and held significant creative control. According to multiple reports, she expected the show to revolve entirely around her, which, fair enough, it had her name on it. But what she apparently didn't expect was for Christine Baranski to be so good that she'd overshadow the lead. Baranski's Mary Ann was sharp, funny, and brought an energy that elevated every scene she was in. Critics loved her, audiences loved her, and the Emmy voters really loved her, nominating Baranski for Outstanding Supporting Actress 3 times and awarding her the trophy in 1995. Here's where things got petty. According to reports, Shepherd was threatened by Baranski's success. Instead of celebrating her co-star's talent, she allegedly used her producer power to limit Baranski's screen time and storylines. It's like being mad that your supporting player is too good at supporting. Baranski has been diplomatic in interviews, but she's hinted at frustration with how the show was run. She's suggested that there was resistance to giving Mary Ann more material, and that creative decisions were sometimes made based on ego, rather than what was best for the show. The tension affected the show's quality. What could have been a female-led comedy powerhouse with 2 strong, funny women playing off each other instead became a vehicle for one star, who felt threatened by the talent around her. Chemistry on screen requires respect off screen, and when that respect is missing, audiences can tell. CBS canceled Cybill after 4 seasons, citing declining ratings. Shepherd blamed the network. Critics blamed the show's inconsistent quality. Behind-the-scenes insiders hinted that the on-set tension contributed to creative stagnation. When your stars can't collaborate effectively, it's hard to produce great television. After Cybill ended, Christine Baranski went on to have an incredible career. She was a regular on The Good Wife and The Good Fight, appeared in countless films including the Mamma Mia movies, and earned Tony Awards for her stage work. She proved that she didn't need Cybill Shepherd's show to showcase her talent. Shepherd continued working in television and film, but she never quite recaptured the success she had earlier in her career. Whether the Cybill experience contributed to that is speculation, but it certainly didn't help her reputation in an industry that values collaboration. What makes this feud the pettiest of all is that it was entirely preventable. There was no moral issue, no violence, no public meltdown. It was simply one actress being unable to handle her co-star's success. It's the Hollywood equivalent of being mad that your friend looks good in photos with you, except it cost both women a successful show and a working relationship. The lesson here: insecurity is a terrible creative partner. If you're lucky enough to work with talented people, celebrate them. Don't diminish them because you're afraid they'll outshine you. Because guess what? If they're that good, they're making you look better too. And that's our list of 11 sitcom stars who couldn't stand each other behind the scenes. From physical altercations to cold shoulders, from public meltdowns to quiet feuds, these on-set conflicts prove that sometimes the best acting happens when stars convince us they actually like each other. Which of these feuds surprised you the most? Did we miss any major sitcom conflicts that deserve a spot on this list? Were you Team Brenda or Team Kelly? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into TV drama, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty more retro TV content coming your way, including forgotten shows, failed spin-offs, and all the behind-the-scenes chaos that made your favorite sitcoms possible. Until next time, this is Remember When, reminding you that just because people smile on camera doesn't mean they're friends when it stops rolling. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.